This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to this edition of Talk Business and Politics Daily. It's Tuesday, November 1st. Here are your top stories of the day. AETN Executive Director Alan Weatherly has passed away unexpectedly this morning. Weatherly came to AETN in 1993 as Deputy Director of the network and became Executive Director in 2001. He was 64 years old. Creighton University's Mid-America Business Conditions Index released Tuesday shows that this is the fifth straight month that the regional economy has moved deeper into negative territory as manufacturing employment has declined by 1.3% over the past year. The October Business Conditions Index, which ranges between 0 and 100, fell to 43.8 from 45.5 in September. That said, consumers in Arkansas say their personal finances have improved this year, as have their expectations for the state's business climate next year. That's according to the Arvest Consumer Sentiment Survey this fall. The survey, conducted in August, showed 42% of respondents expect their finances to improve over the next year. That's up from the 38% who were asked the same question in March. And those are your top stories of the day. You can read additional stories, including these, at our website at talkbusiness.net. Still to come, Obamacare premiums have been rising across the nation, and there are other healthcare storylines. Ray Hanley, CEO of Arkansas Foundation for Medical Care, joins me to discuss. We'll catch up on the latest tourism news, plus KATV's Janelle Lilly and Alicia Dover review two buzz-generating ads that are making waves across the country. We're back after this.
First Security is here, only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank, only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
Healthcare has been a nonstop topic of business, political, and policy debate for what seems like the last 10 years on this show. In truth, it's been a burning hot topic since the passage of the Affordable Care Act in 2009, which is 7 years ago. My guest, Ray Hanley, has been knee-deep in this for most of his adult life. He's the CEO of Arkansas Foundation for Medical Care. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's clarify a few things, because I think everybody in this day and age tends to take their health insurance premiums that are just part of their private employer benefits, the Affordable Care Act and all of its mechanisms, and Medicaid expansion, which is part of the Affordable Care Act, our private option, soon to be Arkansas Works. All of that seems to get lumped into, we have a really bad health insurance problem here. Separate all of that for me.
Well, we have a bad healthcare cost that spans it all, but you can't lump it all together. The state didn't do a regular Medicaid expansion. We did private option Arkansas Works, which is a premium support system, which was a pretty conservative approach, which has worked well. You have other states that did a regular Medicaid expansion of their existing program without some of the innovations. And then you've got the people that have to buy on the market, which are the ones that are really getting hurt now, particularly those without subsidy. So it's really in about three buckets.
Those are the ones that are seeing the, on average, 25% increase in premiums.
Fortunately, less in this state than most states. We're just around 10% here. But on nationally, it is 25%. In Arizona, it's 117. In Texas, it's over 50.
Why the big state-to-state disparities like that? I know some insurers have dropped out of the market. I know there were some underestimates of what they thought things would cost. But
part of the problem is the Affordable Care Act did not really build in cost containment. There was little cost containment element in this. So part of this was inevitable. it was made a lot worse when the insurance pools had so many older, sicker people, and it didn't draw in the younger, healthier people that it was supposed to in a lot of states. So that itself pushed up premiums. In Arkansas, because we did the private option, because we've got over 300,000 people in our pools, that helped pull down premiums for everybody. So Arkansas did some things right, and I think everybody in the state that buys insurance, whether they're on the private option or not, are benefiting from decisions that were made here.
They say that those younger people would rather spend their health care dollars on beer is what they would rather spend their money on.
The Aetna CEO actually said that in a speech, and he's probably not too far off, and I would say probably it's more about car payments and other things than the beer budget. But the problem is that the penalties for not getting insurance are less than the cost of getting the insurance.
It's like $700 a year.
$700
right.
for a penalty if the IRS enforces it, which I think they've done a little of in an election year. But then you've got a greater cost than that for the premiums, depending on the subsidy. But then you've got a pretty high out-of-pocket deductible sometimes to use that insurance. So these are bright young people, and they do the math, and they thought, I had a nice car payment, or I can buy this insurance, and the car payment and some of these other things wins out.
So you're the healthcare czar for the nation, and you get to fix all of this, Ray. I know it's just not as simple as waving a magic wand, but surely there are a couple of things that could be put into place that could correct the imbalances that we're seeing.
Well, there are three things. You could do what Obama did the first couple of years, provide the insurance companies with extra risk order payments to compensate for the more expensive pools than projected. But the courts ruled that the law didn't allow that, so that stopped. You could raise the penalties for being uninsured to make it more attractive and a better proposition to get insurance, which I think has a certain amount of appeal, because personally I think everybody should have coverage. Or you can do things to give the states and these plans more flexibility to contain cost. You can allow higher co-payments if you don't do the things you should do, if you don't quit smoking, if you don't participate in diabetes education and other things you should do. Perhaps it should cost you more. And I think given more flexibility in the ability to enforce personal responsibility, I think Arkansas and some other states would do more in that. And I think given the plans, that flexibility would help lower cost. And personally, I would come down pretty strongly on being able to impose more personal responsibility on the patients we're insuring.
Which is part of what the Governor Hutchinson wants to do through his Arkansas Works plan.
Yes, he is, and he's doing as much as the current administration will allow him, and most of it is voluntary, participating in workforce training and other things. There are modest premiums if you're over 100%. But granted, I know he would like to do more. Personally, I wish the state could do more on the personal responsibility front, and I think most of the governors across the country would say that too.
You think it gets there in a new administration, regardless of who wins, that there has to be some sort of push to change? Are we on some sort of unsustainable trajectory?
We, at a 25% average hike in premiums, we are very much on an unsustainable path. And I think a big collision occurs about toward the end of 2017. If you look at another round of hikes like this, it becomes unsustainable, absolutely.
Well, that sounds like something big is going to happen in 2017.
Something
ready to correct
big has
it,
to
course
happen
correct.
one way or the other, because this is truly unsustainable, Robbie.
All right. You come back and talk with me when we got more data to crunch and things to play with, and as we head into a legislative session?
Yes.
All right. Ray Hanley with Arkansas Foundation for Medical Care. Good to be with you. Thanks so
Thank
much
you, Robbie,
for all your encouragement and everything else that you provide us throughout the year. So
all right.
We're going to be back with more right after this.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy. And together, we power life. Entergy.
Parrots, marshals, Johnny Cash, they've all played a role in Arkansas tourism news. Let's check out some of the latest stories from our tourism, hospitality, and heritage microsite. Fort Smith-based Parrot Island Water Park reported a second consecutive cash positive year. The park's second year did suffer from a bit of a sophomore slump affected by more weather days and a higher minimum wage. Net operating income for the 2016 season finished at a little over $92,000 on $1.2 million in revenues and a little over $1.1 million in expenses. The U.S. Marshals Museum, slated for Fort Smith, announced it will open its doors on September 24, 2019. That will coincide with the 230th anniversary of the U.S. Marshals Service. The 50,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility will honor the importance of the U.S. Marshals. The group is making its way towards a $60 million fundraising goal. Johnny Cash's childhood home in Mississippi County boosting the local tourism economy. Cash, who grew up in the Dias Colony in northeast Arkansas, has a boyhood home that's still standing and has been restored. With nearby Memphis being the home to Cash contemporary Elvis Presley, up to 700 visitors a month are making the trek across the Mississippi River to Cash's childhood home. Another big tourism story involves Governor Asa Hutchinson's call to move War Memorial Stadium under the umbrella of the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism. On tomorrow's Daily Show, I'll talk to the governor about that effort. A quick break. We're back with a look at two TV ads generating a lot of buzz around the country. They're not on Arkansas airwaves, but they're worth a look. We're back after this.
As Arkansas's population grows, so do our energy demands. But with the right mix of resources, reliable, affordable power will always be a reality. These resources are all around us in our rivers, blowing through our trees, even right below our feet. The answer isn't focusing on one resource, it's embracing them all. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas know that a balanced approach to power builds our communities and powers our dreams. Visit themixmatters.com and see why there's power in knowledge.
At Deltic Timber Corporation, we believe in the responsible creation of communities, in the development of neighborhoods that bring convenience and comfort to life, while respecting the beauty and delicacy of nature. Like the harmonious balance of environment and expansion found in the thriving communities of Chenal Valley and Chenal Downs in Little Rock, and Red Oak Ridge in Hot Springs. Because the best communities in the natural state are the ones that help keep it that way.
Two political TV ads have been the darlings of the late political season. One involves a Republican running for local office in Texas. The other, a Democrat in an ultra-competitive U.S. Senate race in Missouri. KATV's Janelle Lilly and Alicia Dover and I discussed TV ads that are generating some buzz outside of Arkansas. Arkansas not being inundated like we saw in 2014 with an ad every other commercial. Let's play this first ad. It's from a guy running for a county commissioner seat in Texas. His name is Gerald Daugherty. He's a Republican, and this one's created quite a bit of funny buzz.
We've got room to put 2,700 people in our jail, and it costs us about $103 a day.
Gerald really doesn't have any hobbies.
Last year's tax rate was 0.4169. This year, we could take that down to 3,838.
So is he always like that?
Yeah, all the time.
Which means that the 3838 is probably going to go somewhere between 3838 and 41.69.
Most people leave their work at the office.
We got 3 light rail cars. You can put 60 people on each car. So even if you add 2 cars, you're talking about maybe 300 people that are affected. There are 1 million people in this community. I mean, that is 0.01 to the 8th power. If you round it off, it's 0.
All he wants to do is fix things.
So I got this 18-wheeler that's parked in this neighborhood, spewing fumes all over the place, but quite frankly, it's not a code violation. You know, I think I like helping around the house here.
Please re-elect Gerald. Please.
All right, Gerald Daugherty for County Commissioner somewhere there in Texas. Okay, great ad or greatest ad of all time?
Greatest ad of all time.
Great.
His wife was so deadpan. I don't know how. Oh my word, so
the
good.
comedic timing there was spot on.
Yeah. This was also touted as kind of a welcome relief from some of the political campaigning we've seen in this election cycle.
Yeah. And I
funny.
love that someone's that passionate about a county seat, and I think that's a great testament to what they're doing.
I always like to see families get involved too, like the French Hill ads with his kids. You know, I always think that's funny, and it goes over well with voters.
I agree with you on that one. All right, this is another one's a little bit more serious. Jason Kander, a Democrat, challenging Republican Senate incumbent Roy Blunt up in Missouri. This race has moved from a 5-point race to a 1-point race, in part because of this ad right here, and that is despite Donald Trump having a 7-point average lead over Hillary Clinton in the state of Missouri. Let's take a look at this ad.
I'm Jason Kander, and Senator Blunt has been attacking me on guns. Well, in the Army, I learned how to use and respect my rifle. In Afghanistan, I'd volunteer to be an extra gun in a convoy of unarmored SUVs. And in the state legislature, I supported Second Amendment rights. I also believe in background checks so that terrorists can't get their hands on one of these. I approve this message because I'd like to see Senator Blunt do this.
All right. Who does that remind you of? Just asking. Just
We both said it. So much like Tom Cotton.
So much like Tom Cotton.
Playing up the veterans deal there. And again, just that ad, I mean, has helped move the points so significantly in that race.
I think that's incredible to see. You know, we sometimes downplay TV ads because there are so many of them that happen, and you just think to yourself, well, they can't be that effective. But when you see an ad like that swing points the way it has, it means it was really on message and the message that folks were interested in receiving.
Yeah, it reminds me too of in the 2014 cycle, Joni Ernst and the castrating hogs, castrating pigs ad, which might have been a little politically incorrect, but it cut through the clutter, and that's what I think that ad does, is it cuts through the clutter.
Yeah, and that ad, it's like, how can you argue with that?
Yeah.
You can't. There is no way, and it's mic drop. You just go, wow, okay.
Yes. KETV's Alicia Dover and Janelle Lilly. You can catch more of our conversation at talkbusiness.net. That's all for today's Daily Show. Thanks for watching. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you tomorrow.